and we know it's cold.
But it appears to be cold.
After we saw Ray, it appears to be the frozen tundra. It could be Lambeau Field that we're visiting right now. It's obviously chilly. The temperatures were, when we started this broadcast, in the low 60s, and it has plummeted from that time. It is probably now in the low 50s, and again, you add the rain and the moisture, and it makes it even cooler.
I think somebody should tell Ray, and maybe it can be me or you, that you could actually wear gloves, because it looks like his hands are really, really cold down there when he holds a microphone.
Well, or a beanie, or a hat, or some sort. Yeah.
Well, I don't think the shaking is indicative of the fact that they feel cold.
I feel bad. Actually, Ray, why don't you go to the media center, please?
And my hands are stuck to the microphone. I couldn't get gloves on right now.
And away? No. And your Red Ryder BB gun. Oh, boy.
I double dog dare you.
Yeah. Red flag conditions from Kansas Speedway. Only 35 laps remaining in this one. But again, a rain delay has halted action. I
think Ray or Adam would like to borrow it right now.
I haven't been shaking at all today, but it is getting very chilly out there on the racetrack, and so obviously a lot of people taking cover right now as the moisture has come once again. They're trying to dry the racetrack. We have 35 laps to go. Mike Skinner is out in front. Mike would obviously say, I think it's rained enough that we ought to call it quits.
I love the fact that NASCAR and the Speedway officials are going to do all they can do to get this race in. This race is advertised as 167 laps, and that's what they're going to try to do. Now, if they see some more weather coming, or if they say, okay, we're not going to be able to get the track dry in enough time to get back going, then they would certainly call it. But they owe it to the competitors. They owe it to the fans that stuck it out. And obviously, this race being on Monday, we didn't have a whole bunch of people able to come back. But nonetheless, the ones that are here and the ones watching at home, we want to give them 167 laps, and I applaud their attitude for trying to get that done.
Yeah, it's 250 miles is what the prescribed distance is, and you see some of the hardcore fans that are sticking around. They would love to see the finish of this race. And guys like Brian Scott have said, we've got 35 laps left in this race. I need about 20 to 25 for my truck to be good. And I think I'm one of the best trucks here, and he thinks he could still win this race.
Hey, we got a guy running fourth, Ron Hornaday. We know he has a good truck. We haven't talked to him since it started raining, but we know he wants to go back to racing. He's not going to be settled with anything but a chance to win. So there's a lot of great stories here. We have some guys that I'm sure would be content. Obviously, Mike Skinner being one of them with where they're running right now. But we have a lot of other guys that want to get this thing back underway, because when you have a shot to win, like a Johnny Benson does, or a Brian Scott, or a Ron Hornaday, or a Brian Eichler even, you want that shot. You don't, sometimes you don't get that many, and you want it when you have an opportunity.
Yeah, Taylor Malsom also running very strong today. Probably would like to see the green flag fly once again. Let's go with more Truck Series stories and Ray Dunlap.
Well, thank you, Rick. Mike and Angie Skinner down here are just waiting to see what the word is, and they're going to get in their motorhome and head back to Florida in the next couple of days. But Mike just told me that all of the people that are in the grandstands are welcome to come down tonight to the motorhome. They're going to have a big party, play some guitar, drink a little bit of wine. That is if they call it, and this is official. So I don't know, there's 38 or 40 people left up there. So party at Skinner's camper here in just a little bit. Adam?
Yeah, and Ray, I'm cuddling with a champion here. Wow. How cold is it out there, big boy?
I'm telling you, I heard it's 90 degrees back at home, but
it's not 90 degrees here.
No, it's just weird weather. It's just a long week. It looks like we've been here for a month, but unbelievable them fans sitting up there. Can you believe that? All them fans sitting up there.
We are a little close. You know that. People are going to start talking. Hey, how's your truck? Fourth, and you've been pretty solid.
The Coparts.com Chevrolet is really good. We got tires, so I was hoping that they went back green, but it was raining like this when we were leading, so how come we didn't throw the yellow then? But it's all right. We got a good truck, and I don't know what happened. I think Brian Scott got mad at me and run into me on the back straight and came right front fender. So I'm a little snug in 1 and 2, but I'm really good in 3 and 4, so new tires are going to make a big difference. But a lot of people got to thank. I mean, it takes Longhorn and VFW and Ream, everybody. It really takes a whole effort and to come do what we're doing in the times we do. But go to your local GM store and get a Chevrolet.
You as snug in 1 and 2 as you and I were a minute ago?
You're getting personal, aren't you?
we better go back upstairs.
It's gotten awful cold up here.
I stepped outside and got a bit of a chill.
Yeah, it was chilly, so we bundled up here as well. It was really kind of chilly. Ron said something about Brian Scott maybe got a little mad and got into him. Could that have been when Ron and he got into each other? And Ron maybe got into him?
2 or 3 or 4 times.
It's about the start or the restart of this race. So, I don't know. Actually, Brian Scott with a very strong race truck. He wants to get back out on the track. We heard Ron Hornaday, he'd still like to race if they could. So they've got to do everything they can to see if we can get this one underway.
Yeah, and that's what NASCAR is all about, trying to give the fans and the competitors their money's worth. Here's what we're talking about. This was a restart earlier in the race. That's Brian Scott, the black truck leading. There's Ron Hornaday.
Contact.
It looks like Ron Hornaday may have moved up a little bit.
Yep.
Case can be made for maybe Brian Scott coming down a little bit, whatever the case may be.
And it didn't end there.
No.
They continued on coming out of 2. They hit each other on the backstretch.
Right in the middle of the backstretch, they ran at each other again. But that's just hard racing, and that's what we see in these trucks.
Yep. And they continue to try to dry the racetrack, and it's because of the fans that are sticking around.
Especially that one with that thing over his head.
He's having troubles.
Yeah.
Honey, can you help, please? Please? Thank you.
It's a little windy.
Actually, it might just be a buddy.
Honey, buddy, whatever.
Well, Ron and Adam are close, so who knows?
I saw Adam get kissed by a driver. A couple drivers.
At least he didn't have a dress on this week.
Yeah. Well, we are in Kansas, and there was a tornado Saturday, so we could have gone back to the costumes from Halloween earlier. Adam Alexander.
Yeah, I don't have my Halloween costume on. I think that's what you guys were talking about. I'm sorry, Rick. This is one of the few times I wasn't. Oh, we're racing on Halloween again this year, Johnny. I don't know if you realize that at Talladega. And I can promise you now I won't be wearing a dress this year like I was last year. But anyway, let's forget about that and talk about you running second and the continued great progress this team is making in 09.
Tripp has been doing a great job, there's no doubt. And our truck wasn't very good when we unloaded. We kept making changes, and the guys were working pretty hard. But, once we, qualified, we thought we were going to be in good shape. And, of course, a little bit we ran yesterday. It was a little bit too tight. But then today we made a couple adjustments. And, of course, started at the back. The one time there, I thought our strategy was – we weren't sure what the strategy was going to be. But ended up pretty good, and it's pretty quick right now. We're about the same as a 5 and a 16. I don't think we're better than them, and I don't think they're better than us. I think we're just right around everybody's right around the same right there, and it's tough to pass what's rated, I can tell you that.
You and I were talking about the fact that strategy has been a question mark throughout this day, and I would guess it is pretty tough to get your arms around it when you're dealing with weather and the fact that we started this day with the competition caution and the number of things that have factored in.
Yeah, it has. I don't know if we're all used to the new pit road rules, and not really sure if we all like them yet, but it's hard to figure out what you're going to do and not do, and we're on old tires along with the 5. I'm not sure behind us where new tires are, things of that nature. And it just really throws a balance off when you go from old tires and just do fuel like we did. But it was a gamble. We knew that we'd still be pretty good and all that. We probably could have went either way, but I think this was the best for us at the moment. And, I think it was a good call. And we'll just keep working at it. We'll see if our Toyota Tundra will either stay second or we'll go back racing and find out if we'll go forward or backwards.
When you and I talked on Saturday, you pointed out to me as far as the championship race is concerned that at least in the standings you're behind where you were a year ago at this time, and of course went on to win the title. So where are you from a team standpoint? Do you feel like this team is better, worse, the same as this stage a year ago?
Well, we're actually, I think, 2 spots ahead of last year, but maybe a few more points behind the front guy. But it's probably too early to tell. There's a lot of great teams up there. I'd like to be a little bit further forward for sure. Daytona probably hurt us as much as anything, but but we were quick there. Our performance was good. Just California wasn't where we wanted to be. Everywhere else, I think we've been pretty good. Tripp and everybody at Red Horse Racing has done a tremendous job over the winter to restructure the shop to be able to accommodate 2 trucks, get some jigs, do some body and the body work in-house. And that took time, and then on top of that, to try to build 3 or 4 new trucks was a task for the guys to do that. But they pretty much worked through the holidays and didn't take very much time off, and we feel prepared. And of course, with these races going with a couple of weeks off, that helps us for sure. So I sure hope we get sponsorship and be able to make a run for the championship. Running on where we're at right now, it's tough because there's certain things you want to do, and we can't do it. We're on a strict budget, but Tom Lose has pretty committed to make this team a championship running organization, and I think we're well on our way. So, we need some financing to help that, and he's but he's done a great job committing to it, and that says a lot about an owner to try to do this without funds, and it's I guess it can be stressful, I guess you could say, but I think in the same aspect we got a good group of guys on both the 1 and the 11.
Keep up the good work.
All right, thank you.
It's an uphill battle for the track workers as the moisture continues to fall on the racetrack, but they're trying to stay on top of it. Some people would call them jet dryers. Ray's called them blow dryers are on the track.